Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me for another office hours training. I'm Crystal L. Gunn, your financial strategist and small business advisor. And I swear it's Tuesday, but it is shaping up to be like a Monday, right? So, part of my job as that strategist, be it on the business side or the personal side, is to help you create a solid financial relationship or a strong business foundation on which you can actually grow. And so I also help you have some aha moments. This is my favorite part. The self-discovery moments and helping you see what no longer serves you so that you can release all of that madness and soar. Because all of that helps with the breakthroughs. And that's where you start to shift. That's where the magic happens, be it in your personal finances or your overall business. So again, welcome and thank you for joining me today. And last week, I started to unpack some of our bad money and finance habits observed in us, African Americans, the Black community, right? And last week was about the lack of budgeting. And y'all know how I feel about an efficient and effective budget, right? But the lack of budgeting and the historical context which shaped your financial relationship. Remember, everyone has a financial relationship. It wasn't defined by you. It's what you inherited generationally, what you saw growing up, what you were taught, what you weren't taught, what you heard, what you overheard, and then everything else that has happened up until current day in your life, shaping your financial relationship, and it doesn't work for you. So the biggest part of what I do is to help point that out so that you can heal it and redefine it so that it's working in your favor. And as you heal and redefine your personal financial relationship, all other areas of your life are positively impacted because those same things that are negatively impacting this financial relationship are showing up in all of those other areas, right? And so last week was about the lack of budgeting and the generational impact and the socio-economic challenges that went along with that and how you got there or how we got there. So we have to continue to peel back all of these layers in order to break the curse or heal the financial relationships so we can build new strategies for the generations that follow, right? So this week, I want to focus on the legacy of insufficient savings and the historical context this week. So let's go back and look at the slavery and economic disempowerment. So slaves were denied economic autonomy and the ability to accumulate wealth. Their labor was exploited without compensation. So we're doing this work, we're not getting paid for it. So there was no opportunity to save and invest. And if you have no opportunity, then you don't learn the skills in order to be able to do that. And so this entire period of economic disempowerment set a foundation where financial habits and the concept of savings could not even be developed or passed down. And so when you start to look at your savings account and your saving habits, what do you find? Do you have line item allocations in your efficient and effective budget for savings and investing? Are you relying on your 401k or your 403b with your employer for savings? I hear people say all of the time, it's so hard for them to save. Well, one reason is that in most cases, the concept of savings was never passed down. The other piece of that is most are not being intentional about it. Remember, I always say every dollar you earn should have a job. And if you haven't assigned any of your income to go towards savings, it's not going to happen. And you won't pass down the concept or the practice to your children and the generations that follow. So post-emancipation challenges. So after emancipation, systemic racism and segregation severely limited African Americans' access to economic opportunities. So Jim Crow laws and other discriminatory practices in employment, housing, banking, it just further entrenched economic disparities, right? And so the ability to access fair wages and financial services meant that the inability meant that African Americans often had to focus on immediate survival rather than building savings. And you still see it today. The aftermath is real, right? And I speak about it all the time. People are living in survival mode, and in most cases, they don't even know it, and it's become a way of life, right? So you took some survival strategies and now it's survival mode, and that's how you live your life every single day. Go and ask AI or Google how living in survival mode negatively or just impacts, not even negatively. Ask how living in survival mode impacts you, your health, your finances, and your relationships. And if you don't heal it, guess what you're doing? You're teaching your children and the generations that follow to do the same thing, to live in survival mode, right? And then there's the exclusion from wealth building programs. And so, all throughout the 20th century, African Americans were frequently excluded from wealth building programs such as the GI Bill, which provided education and housing benefits to veterans, and other various New Deal programs. So discriminatory practices like redlining prevented African Americans from purchasing homes and accessing loans, further hindering the ability to accumulate savings and build wealth, right? And we're still seeing this today. We're still talking about redlining. You hear it more when it comes to like insurance, but the conversation is still out there, and lending practices. And some lenders have been tapped because they were not lending in certain communities. And so all of these things are still happening. And it may not be glaringly blatant in your face. No one may be like verbally saying, no, you can't have, you can't do, or you can't be just because, right? So as I speak about the economic disempowerment during slavery and post-emancipation challenges that have been passed down generationally, so have the thoughts, beliefs, and practices of the oppressor. So the stuff has been passed down to us, but there's the other stuff has been passed down to others. So we have both sides to this coin. And in most cases, the children of the people who oppress the nation are not going to do the self work to heal that because they benefit from it. So, because I never stick on the conversation of others. I'm always focused on the conversation of self and we as a people. So we have to ensure that that we individually heal from it, right? And put the strategies in place so that it no longer negatively impacts us today or in our generations that will follow. It is truly a generational curse. And we talk about breaking generational curses all the time. And if the curse is going to stop with you, then the new system of success, the new strategies must start with you as well. Now, let's check out my favorite things for today. And it's the budget. It's the efficient and effective budget. It winds up being your system of success. If you got a problem with the word budget and just hearing that word stresses you out, you can't handle it, then just call it a financial system of success. Call it a cash spending plan. Call it a cash savings plan, whatever it is. But you need to be able to track the money that you spend and then set up to make sure that you're not just paying bills, but that you're setting money aside for savings, for investing, for travel, for shopping, to be able to live life, but also to be able to pass those things down to the next generation, right? So that is my favorite thing for the day. You know where it is. Download it. The link is in the description. Go ahead and take care of that. To do next steps, because life is about elevation and your specific journey, and your journey is specific to you, where we all have a collective journey. And what I mean when I say we have a collective journey, I mean, we have a duty in order to change things for the next generation. We have a duty in order to heal these generational curses. That's part of why we're here in this life, in order to be able to do that. But we have to face it, we have to heal it, we have to fix it, and then pass down the practices to the next generation. And so that's just part of your journey. Everybody's journey is different, right? It's part of this next level of elevation that we have to make sure we are taken care of. So download and complete the efficient and effective budget. Download and complete the financial savings of success. Download and complete your cash spending plan, whatever it is that again makes you warm and fuzzy to call it. If the word budget doesn't work for you, download and complete it if you haven't done so already. Go back, look at past episodes. I talk about how to complete it. I talk about what to do after you've put all your bills in there, what to do if you don't have money left over, what to do if you're in the negative, what to do if you do have money left over. All of those things are in past episodes. Just look for budgeting, right? And then determine how much you will save from each pay or each commission check or whatever that is, and assign those dollars a job of savings. But here's the thing, you have to put it on autopilot. So let's say you know what, I'm gonna save $100 from every paycheck. You need to go to payroll and put it, make that happen on automatic pilot, and have that $100 going to an account somewhere else, not the main bank or credit union that you use and that you're paying bills from. It needs to go somewhere else so that you don't have easy access to it, right? Because if you're changing a thing, and for a lot of people this will be something new. If you're changing a thing, you definitely have to separate your money, because you can't save in the same account from what you spend. But again, being intentional with those dollars and putting them somewhere where you don't have easy access to them, so that it starts to accumulate. And it's a psychological shift that happens, because when you start to see that account grow, you want to put more over there, right? You want to put more over there. And then the third thing that I want you to do is to teach your children and let them set up a strategy. Like, it's very, very important. Yes, we should be saving for our children, but it's also important that the children know how to save for themselves. So I tell the story often of when my daughter, she's 23 now, but when she was like 5, we got these 3 mason jars, and I let her decorate these 3 mason jars however she wanted to decorate them. But then they were labeled um, spend, give, and freedom. And so whenever she got money, be it allowance, be it birthday money, be it she saw her uncles and they just gave her some money, I would break that money down, like all the way down into dollars, or depending upon how much it was, maybe fives, fives and singles or whatever. And she had to break that money down. So taught her how to count. So she had to put 10 in her give jar. She had to put 20 in her spend jar, and the remainder she had to put in her freedom jar, and that was her savings jar. So I set her up really early with being able to separate her money and assign it a job. So she got taught the concepts at a very early age. And in that spin jar, we made it a point to spend the money in the spin jar. So, okay, let's go to Five and Below. Let's go to the dollar store. Let you buy something when we, go wherever, because she was 5, right? And so where the percentages might be different in your adult life, the concept is still the same. But teach your children and let them set up the strategy so that they know from a very early age how to save. My child right now is really, really good at saving her money. And she knows she's going to put money over here at this credit union account. She's going to pay her bills out of this bank account. So she has money going into both places. And she's moving away and she's going to get her master's degree. But she said that there was, a certain amount of money that she wanted saved up before she moved away. And so she's leaving in August. And she went to Jamaica a couple weeks ago. And so right before she, the couple weeks before she went to Jamaica, she wasn't saving any money, but she was right at her goal before she went to Jamaica. And so now they're back from Jamaica and she's back to saving. So now she's exceeded her goal, but she understood from a very young age the power in saving. And those jars, which hilariously she still has those jars, but and there's still some money in those jars. But she went from jars to bank accounts or credit union accounts, and she then morphed and created her own strategy that worked for her. But because she had the foundation set up from age 5, you can see that positive impact at age 20. She'll be 23 in a couple months. And then knowing that when she has a family and has children, she will teach her children how to do that same thing. So remember, this is how you start to break the curse and set up new strategies for the future generation. I could have saved for her, but it was important for her to be able to do it on her own. Okay. So If any of this information has been helpful, please subscribe to my channel and be sure to turn notifications on so that you don't miss a training. I will be talking about part 2 tomorrow of the legacy of insufficient savings from a generational impact standpoint. So you want to make sure that you tune in for that. Also, if you're in need of personal or business strategy, let's talk about it. The links for scheduling a consultation are in the description below. If you're in need of powers of attorney, life insurance, again, those descriptions are below, those consultation links are below in the description as well. And I really want to bring this to the forefront. There's a lot going on economically, and I've been saying it's gonna get better, like really better, but it is gonna get worse first, and it has continued over this year. In a lot of instances, getting worse when you continue to hear about the debt piling up that people have on their credit cards because they have to supplement what they're doing in life with those credit cards because they don't have enough money to pay all the bills, to buy the food, to get the gas, because the price of everything keeps going up and up and up and up, right? And there is no time to wait and or to waste, right? There is a sense of urgency for this. And we walk around and we get so distracted, like there's a bunch of stuff to be distracted about right now. But the distraction also keeps us from paying attention to what the main thing is, because we get distracted over here and it keeps us from paying attention to the main thing and the things that we need to do. And we sit in it, we do whatever, we make fun of it, we want to have these heated debates about it. But the trouble is, you think that you have time. You think that you have time to change your financial situation. You think that you have time to help train your children. You think that you have time, oh, well, I'll start next month. Oh, well, I'll start at the top of the year. There's no time to wait and or to waste. And so when I talk about the things that it will get better, but it'll get worse before it gets better, even with the better, right? And the things that they talk about that will come, even the better. If you have not healed your financial relationship, if you have not redefined it so that it's working in your favor, you're going to go into the better with the same financial relationship and you're going to be in the same place. So when they talk about this wealth transfer, when they talk about all of these things, how do you take part in it if you haven't healed and redefined your personal financial relationship? It's like the people who win the lottery. They win the lottery, 2 years later, they don't, or 3 years later, they don't have any money because they didn't change their financial relationship. They didn't heal it and redefine it so that it worked for them. They were still operating with that same mindset. They were still operating with the same thoughts, beliefs, habits, and lifestyle. And so now it just 10x'd. But nowhere in there did they take the time to learn what were the things that they were supposed to do. How were they supposed to set things up so that they could live out their life very well for the rest of their life, plus leave and pass something down from generation to generation. So as I wrap up for today, and I thank you again for joining me, but always remember to give yourself some grace. We don't know what we don't know. There's been so much that has gone into shaping your financial relationship and just any other type of relationship that you have. There's been so much going into it that we did not have a say in. So give yourself some grace, but keep striving. Never, ever, ever stop striving to get to your next level. And so that you can, again, if we're going to break the generational curse, the new strategies, thought process, habits, it all has to start with you. So break the curse. It stops with you. But creating the new system of success has to start with you, and never give up on you. I promise you, invest in yourself. It is the best investment that you will ever make. And it's one that you will not regret. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate your time, and I will see you on the other side. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Be sure to join me for the private online Q&A immediately following. The link is in the description. And if you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn notifications on so you never miss this opportunity. Thank you again, and I will see you on the other side.